Superman, the man who started everything. Before Iron Man, before Batman, before Spider-Man swung through New York and the Avengers assembled and the entire world went superhero crazy, there was one, just one, and without him, none of the others would exist. This is the story of Superman. Not just his powers, not just his cape, the complete history, where he came from, who created him, why the world almost never knew his name, and how one fictional alien from a dead planet changed human culture forever. Buckle up. This one goes deep. Chapter 1. The year is 1932. The Great Depression is crushing America. People have no jobs, no money, no hope. The streets are gray. The future looks gray. Everything is gray. In Cleveland, Ohio, two teenage boys are sitting in a small bedroom surrounded by comic books and big dreams. Their names are Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Jerry is the writer. Quiet, imaginative, the kind of kid who fills notebooks with ideas that nobody else can see yet. Joe is the artist. Shy, draws constantly on whatever paper he can find. They are both 17 years old. They are both nobodies. And they are about to create the most recognizable fictional character in human history. Jerry had been obsessed with science fiction for years. Pulp magazines, Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, stories about men with extraordinary abilities saving the world. But none of them felt right to him. None of them felt real. He wanted something different, someone different. One night, and nobody knows exactly which night, this detail has been debated for decades, Jerry couldn't sleep. He lay in bed, and an idea arrived. Not piece by piece, all at once, complete. A man from another planet, sent to Earth as a baby, raised by ordinary people, stronger than any human being, faster than any machine, unable to be hurt, using all of it not for power or money, but to protect the weak. He ran to Joe the next morning. Joe started drawing immediately. By the time they were done, Superman existed. Chapter 2. Here is the part of the story that nobody talks about enough. Jerry and Joe spent 6 years trying to sell Superman. 6 years. They sent their creation to every comic publisher in America. Every single one said no. Some said the concept was ridiculous. Some said nobody would believe a man could fly. Some just never wrote back at all. 6 years of rejection letters. 6 years of being told their idea was worthless. During those 6 years, Jerry kept rewriting. Joe kept redrawing. They changed things, improved things, believed in something that the entire industry had looked at and walked away from. Then in 1938, a small publisher called DCComics, you might know them better as DC, took a chance. Action Comics, issue number 1. June 1938, 10 cents. The cover showed a man in a blue suit and red cape, lifting a car above his head while people ran screaming around him. It was ridiculous. It was impossible. It was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It sold out immediately. Within months, Superman was the most popular character in American comics. Within a year, he had his own dedicated series. Within 2 years, he was on the radio. Within a decade, he was in movie theaters. From zero to everywhere in 5 years. Because two broke teenagers in Cleveland refused to give up. Chapter 3, what Superman actually was now here, is something interesting that most people miss completely. Superman was not just entertainment, he was a message. Jerry Siegel was the son of Jewish immigrants. Joe Shuster was also from a Jewish immigrant family. They created Superman during a time when Jewish people in America faced real discrimination, barred from certain jobs, certain neighborhoods, certain opportunities. And what did they create? An immigrant from another world. Someone who looks completely human on the outside but comes from somewhere else entirely. Someone who has to hide his true identity to fit in. Someone who is more powerful than anyone around him, but chooses to use that power to protect the most vulnerable people in society. Superman was not just a superhero, he was a fantasy about what it feels like to be an outsider and to matter anyway. This is why he connected with so many people so immediately. Not just Jewish Americans, not just immigrants, anyone who had ever felt different, anyone who had ever hidden part of themselves to fit in, anyone who had ever wished they could do more than the world allowed them to. Superman said, "Your difference is your power." In 1938, when the world was heading toward the darkest war in human history, that message hit like a thunderbolt. Chapter 4: The Sad Truth. Now comes the part of this story that is genuinely painful. Jerry and Joe sold Superman to DC Comics for $130 total. They signed away all rights. Every future comic, every movie, every TV show, every piece of merchandise, none of it would ever belong to them. $130 for the most valuable fictional character ever created. For decades, they received nothing while DC made millions. Jerry tried to fight it legally multiple times. He lost. Joe's eyesight deteriorated badly, and he could barely draw anymore. Both men spent large parts of their lives in financial difficulty, while Superman merchandise filled every store in America. It was only in 1975, after massive public pressure from comic creators and fans across the industry, that DC finally agreed to give them a small annual payment and creator credit on Superman productions. Jerry Siegel died in 1996. Joe Shuster died in 1992. They never got what they deserved. But they gave the world something it never gave back. Chapter 5: Superman changes everything. Before Superman, there were no superheroes. Read that again. Before 1938, the concept of a superhero, a person with extraordinary abilities who wears a costume and fights crime, did not exist in popular culture. There were strong men. There were detectives. There were adventurers. But the superhero as we know it? Superman invented that. After Action Comics issue 1, every publisher in America started creating their own versions. Batman arrived in 1939, 1 year later. Wonder Woman in 1941. Captain America in 1941. The entire genre exploded because Superman proved it could work. Every superhero that has ever existed, every single one, exists because two teenagers in Cleveland created a man in a blue cape and the whole world looked up. Chapter 6: Superman in the Real World. During World War II, Superman comics were sent to American soldiers overseas, not just for entertainment, as a morale tool. Here was a character who was pure good in a world that had gone very dark. Soldiers read those comics in foxholes and felt something. Hope, maybe. Or at least the memory of what they were fighting for. Hitler actually banned Superman comics in Germany. He wrote about Superman in Nazi propaganda, calling him a Jewish creation, which was accurate, though Hitler meant it as an insult, and history made it something else entirely. When you are important enough for the most evil regime in modern history to specifically ban your comic book, you have made an impact. Chapter 7: The Evolution. Superman did not stay the same. Over the decades, he changed constantly, reflecting the anxieties and values of each era that told his story. In the 1940s and 50s, he was simple and optimistic. Truth, justice, the American way. A world recovering from war needed something uncomplicated and good. In the 1960s and 70s, he became more complex. Writers started asking harder questions. What does it feel like to be invincible in a world full of pain you cannot always fix? What does it cost to be Superman? In 1986, writer John Byrne completely reimagined him for a new generation. More human, more vulnerable, more real. In 1992, DC killed him, literally. A villain named Doomsday beat Superman to death. It was front-page news in actual newspapers, not comic news, real news. CNN covered it. That is how much Superman meant to people. His fictional death made real headlines. He came back, of course. He always comes back. In 2013, he came to cinema in a serious way with Man of Steel, darker, more conflicted, asking questions the 1950s version never had to face. Is a being this powerful actually safe? Can absolute goodness exist in a complicated world? The questions changed, but the character endured. Chapter 8: Why Superman Still Matters. Here is the honest truth about Superman in the modern world. He is not the most popular superhero anymore. Batman outsells him, Spider-Man outranks him. The Avengers dominate the conversation. Superman is sometimes called old-fashioned. Too good, too pure, not complicated enough for modern audiences who want their heroes broken and conflicted and morally gray. But here is what those people are missing. The world does not need more broken heroes. The world is full of broken things. What is genuinely radical, genuinely difficult, genuinely worth telling stories about in 2024 is a being with unlimited power who chooses every single day to be kind, not because he has to, because he wants to. That is not simple. That is the hardest thing imaginable. Superman is not old-fashioned. Superman is a standard, and standards are not supposed to be easy to meet. They are supposed to show you what is possible. Final Chapter 2. Teenagers in Cleveland. 6 years of rejection, $130. And from that, a character who has been continuously published for over 80 years, who has appeared in radio shows, television series, blockbuster films, video games, theme parks, and the bedrooms of children on every continent on Earth, who made an entire genre possible, who gave generations of people who felt small and different and overlooked a reason to believe that their difference was not a weakness. That is Superman. Not just the first superhero, the reason there are any superheroes at all.